Long time no see.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's meeting, the regular meeting of the East Montgomery County Improvement District Board of Directors. Today is Thursday, February the 25th, and we always begin with prayer and a pledge, and I will ask Director Rogers to lead us in prayer and Director Zepeda to lead us in the pledges. If you please stand.
Our grateful Heavenly Father, we come before you, Lord, with such open hearts and ask you to forgive each and every one of our sins, Lord. We ask you, Lord, if you would be with each board member here tonight, Lord. Help us make the correct decision, the right decision will be our going you, Lord. We ask you, Lord, if you would to protect each and every one of our service, being our fire department, our police officers, and each and every one that's out in harm's way. We ask all this in Jesus' precious holy name.
Amen. Will you join me in the pledge, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas pledge. I Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to Texas, one nation under God, one indivisible.
Before we begin, I would like to just ask everyone to please silence their phones so there's no interruptions. Thank you. The first item on our agenda is to consider comments from members, and we have no one signed up to speak. So the next item is to consider the minutes from the last three meetings we had: December 16th, January 14th, January 28th, and February 12th. I'm sorry, that was 4 meetings. So we would need a motion to accept them.
I so move.
I got 2. Okay, Director Rogers made the motion, seconded by Director Ibarra. Is there any discussion?
I think there's the meeting December 16th. I'm almost positive I wasn't at that. UPS, I wasn't.
Yes, you're correct.
Thanks.
Yes. Is that the only change to be made?
That's the only thing that I see.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes with the one change? Unanimous, thank you. The next item will be the bookkeeper's report. Good evening, Ms. Bell.
Now, yes. Good evening. I believe you have a supplemental report in front of you. From the original report, there's not a lot of change. We did have in the hotel motel account a deposit. We do have some checks that came over this morning. Your total on your all of your accounts, if you look on page 3, is $10,323,610.12. Page 4 shows your CDs that you have invested in the operating fund. Page 5 shows that the Green Bank CD is the one that matured, so that interest went into the 4 hotel motel, went into that account, and then the hotel motel tax revenue as well was deposited after the original report. On page 6, we have the cash flow for the checks after the original report. You had a balance forward of $873.0552, receipts of $2443.96, have disbursements totaling $93,623.25, leaving $779,126.23 in the general operating account. The rest of the report budget would reflect any of the checks that are on the cash flow that were in the month of January. If they're not, they won't be reflected there, but they will be on the February budget. And nothing else has changed. Everything should be the same. If you have any questions on the original or on this report, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, so we would need a motion to accept.
I make a motion we accept the financial bookkeeping and cash flow reports as presented.
Okay. Motion by Director Hessen. Second. Director Zepeda. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kay. Item number 4 is the status of the request for our ESD 7, and we are going to defer this. We have some information that the board needs to consider. We are going to have a workshop in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and at that time we will go over the information we have and take it further. Okay, so the next item is to consider the district's insurance coverage.
I'll do a quick summary for you. I sent over the proposal for insurance renewal. Basically, over the past year, we added the special events coverage, and cyber liability coverage, and law enforcement liability coverage. Those are things that we added during the year. Okay. Expiring premium on an annual basis is $37,838. The renewal is $38,174, and that's a difference of $336, which there was a slight property value change from the engineer, and so that caused a little bit of a change, but that's total difference on that. Okay? How do you go into this?
I think really what we just really need to know is if it's the same coverage we had for last year, and the only difference is the price that you charged, the $330.
Right, right, there's no changes in coverage, limits, deductibles, or carriers. Okay, so it's the same carriers, and including like the ones that we added during the middle of the year.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Kim regarding the insurance? Thank you, Ms. Kim. Oh, you got one?
This is the same insurance that we had.
That is correct. Yes, same everything.
yes.
Okay, thank you. So we would need a motion to accept.
I move that we renew our insurance.
Motion by Director Zepeda and seconded by Director Carlisle. And is there any other discussion?
Just to be clear, your motion and what you're considering includes the 4 policies for the 4 zones as well as the EMCID policy. They're all presented together.
Right, and that's what we approved for last year. Okay.
Okay, and just so you know, all the zones are exactly the same as last year. They're each, the premium is $790 for each one of the zones. No changes in carriers, limits, coverage forms, or anything like that as well.
All right. Okay. So the motion is to approve as presented? Okay, okay, so we have a motion and a second, and any discussion? All right, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kim.
Thank you.
Is there any announcements? I have an announcement. We, as y'all know, we brought a company into our district, the Berkeley Center, the midwifery that we all talked about. My daughter has a friend who actually went there to have her second child. And she said that was the most wonderful experience that she had ever had. And if she ever has children again, she will have them there, and she will recommend that place to everyone. So that was a really, really good thing we did. It's good to hear good feedback. Anybody else have any?
Yeah, one other thing, if y'all remember for the festival that we had a competition for the kids through McCaney ISD and the local school districts, also Splendor ISD, for the attendees to make a short 1-minute video. So we want to make those presentations at our next board meeting, but I wanted to show you the 1-minute clips that were selected for first, second, and third place. And Kelly's the first one, third place or first place?
The first one is first place.
Okay,
It's,
first.
Kaylee Bailey.
All right.
So that's a $500 scholarship, and she is a junior at McKinney High School.
All right, so that was the first one. And then the second place winner,
Second place is Nurul Rafi. He is a sophomore at New Caney High School, and he's getting a $250 scholarship.
A lot of organizations were involved in the East Texas Fire and Ice Festival held at Texan Drive Stadium. There were lots of rides, dancing, and snow fights. That's right, snow fights. Southeast Texas.
Hold on. All right.
A lot of organizations were involved in the East Texas Fire and Ice Festival held at Texan Drive Stadium. There were lots of rides, dancing, and snow fights. That's right, snow fights in Southeast Texas. If you love music, there's plenty of that with some big name stars like Sundance Head, Jason Katsky, and Grammy Award winning Joe Diffie.
The weather is good. We're having fun.
And it's very nice. The kids having fun. It's a very nice day.
I like it. It's great. I think hopefully they'll do it next year.
And then third place is Cayman Freeman. He is a sophomore, and he will get $100.
Those are all great. Kelly, can you put those on the website?
Yes, we are going to put them on the website.
Awesome.
yeah, we had 11 students submit videos. So 11 kids went through the process and put them together. Those are the 3 top ones that we selected to present awards to. And they'll be invited to our next board meeting to receive their awards and be recognized by you guys. So just wanted you guys to see them ahead of time so you can kind of get a feel for what's going on and see what they did. A lot of neat aspects of what they were doing there, and they're just high school kids. So pretty cool stuff.
Two sophomores.
Yeah, that's great. That's a pretty good number of people, of the kids participating. That's really good. Okay, is there any other announcements? Okay, if there is no other announcements, then we will recess to executive session, and we are in recess at 6:47, sorry. This is one. Sorry. Recess to executive session to discuss real property matters pursuant to section 551.072 Texas Government Code, pending or contemplated litigation pursuant to section 551.071 Texas Government Code, matters in which the duty of the attorney to the district under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with chapter 551 Texas Government Code pursuant to section 551.071 Texas Government Code, and economic development negotiations pursuant to section 551.087 Texas Government Code. And now we are recessed. Okay, we are back in session at 7:58, and we will continue. The next item is to consider the status of modification agreements regarding, with Sig Valley Ranch and Valley Ranch Town Center.
Nothing on that until the next board meeting.
Okay. The next item is to consider the status of modifications, the development of the district's 12.85 acre site.
A couple of items here. The first one being Signorelli Companies and Academy has asked to utilize our special events room for a interview facility for prospective applicants with Academy. So just need a motion from you guys to allow us to enter into a lease agreement with Signorelli or Academy or its assignees to allow that to happen in the district.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We got a motion by Director Carlisle and a second by Director Martin. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
And the second item under this is to release the Declaration of Covenants on our facility here. Once again, in our negotiation with the state of Texas, that allows us to have a better position in working in regards to the condemnation cases ongoing. So we need to release.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Director Vera, second by Director Carlisle. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous again, thank you. The next item is going to be 10, and it's going to have everything to do with the information at the industrial park. Joe?
Those who got you off guard.
Surprise.
You don't have to read all this stuff anymore.
Industrial park, microphone on?
No, it is. You got it.
Okay. The status of the sale of the dirt and the detention, I know there's been some movement. The Catalyst Trading Company has talked to a contractor. He says he's getting one more contractor bid, so hopefully he's gonna buy your dirt soon. The quad best construction of the roads, you know, as I've told you, the roads have to wait on the ditch. We got the ditch plans, they're out there moving dirt right now. I don't know if anybody's been out there lately, but it's a lot of dirt moving around, and they're digging, going pretty good. The plant specifications relative to section 4, both of them, they're in design right now. They should be submitted to the county either next week or shortly thereafter. And that we had to change a little bit because of, you know, we talked to Frank, he's got some potential clients coming in. So we've kind of been working back and forth on that with him, getting the cul-de-sac that's going off the main road up there. And so it's being worked on, but we're gonna go ahead and we finalize the plan, we're gonna do it and submit it to the county. The quad best construction for the wastewater lift station, they've been out, they dug a test hole, and they encountered the water at 10 foot. The lift station's 24 foot deep. They came back and said they did not have dewatering into their bed. We haven't encountered water, significant water out there. So they came back with the change order of 24,748.63. 24,748.63. The change order, you know, and I've talked to them, if they get down and it's just a lens they found, then you don't have to pay that much. The change order, it's all subject to reimbursement anyway. You'll get your money back. But they've got to be water to be able to sink the lift station. Lift stations in their yard, they put it together. They have to sink the case on and then take the equipment out there and put it in. So I'd recommend you approve the change order subject to us getting the ethics committee paperwork back from them. And we've been on the phone with David trying to, you know, this is a whole new deal for everybody. The contractors included, where they have to get a number, have to go to the state, you know, submit their information to them that nobody's related to anybody or, you know, you got no business connection with them. So they're in the process of doing that. We just got them the number today. We'll give it to David once they get the paperwork back, and then he'll do whatever he needs to do, filing it, whatever. But, you know, I recommend you approve it subject to that being done. And once we get that done, it should be a pretty quick process with the state, and they'll be out there next week, hopefully. It doesn't rain again. The water distribution,
So we need a motion to approve that.
Do we need to go and do that now? Okay, so we would need a motion to approve that.
What are we approving?
Approving the $24,748.63 change order because of the water they found.
Because of the water?
Yeah,
we
we just got.
encountered some groundwater letter. We encountered groundwater.
Oh, okay.
You know, you can't put it in, you know, they dug a test hole out there, and they hit water like at 10 or 12 foot.
They gonna pump it?
Yeah, they'll set up well points all around it, and then start pumping to dry it up, and then
Then set the station down there once they pump it?
yeah.
Are they gonna put any kind of is this the concrete bottom, is this the concrete bit? Are they gonna put any kind of valve in the bottom up to relieve the pressure on it?
They usually don't, we usually have, you know, I think it's like 18 inches, 2 foot thick down there, reinforced.
They're gonna fill it, they'll fill it, where they put it in the ground?
Mhm. Yeah, they'll, the way they construct this thing, they'll actually have, it's like a big culvert pipe, and they'll actually clamp it out and they'll sink it down, and they'll get it to the right grade, and they'll come in and pour that bottom and seal it up, then they'll cut the well points. And then come back with their equipment.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve that.
How much the motion we approve?
Okay, motion by Director Rogers,
Second.
second by Director Hussett,
Subject to,
subject to, yes. Any further discussion on this particular item?
What's the subject of the mud district as far as their finances?
or if I know their power,
Do we ever get reimbursed for any of this?
They already paid, sold bonds and raised money to pay for the drainage and detention portion. And they have the money in their account that they will reimburse you for the lift station contract.
Okay.
And then you have to put some more value on the ground before they can sell more bonds to reimburse you for the water, sewer, and drainage.
My question was the benefit of our new people on this board that probably have never heard what the details in regards to the mud district and what they are reimbursing us back on.
as soon as you get the value out there,
Yeah.
they'll be able to sell bonds, so they can support the bond issue with that value. And they, you know, well, they've done 3 bond issues, David? Or 4?
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4, I can't remember, if it's 3 or 4. But they have steadily gone along as you put value on the ground to reimburse you.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion? Unanimous, thank you.
Okay, the contract with National Sign. Got some pictures, there's your sign.
Yay, that's awesome.
There's the people's names. They've set the foundation for it.
Is everybody's name? on
Is
there?
everybody's out there right
There's
now?
down those room full of expensive food.
So it's half filled up quick, so get ready.
Well, Frank told me that 3rd row is gonna be full in about a week.
That is really great.
So they set the foundation, they put the holes in to hold the sign. Hopefully it'll cure out this week and they get it in next week. We'll come back with the electrical and the lighting and landscaping. But we're gonna be under budget. I think I told y'all 80 grand, we're gonna come in under budget.
Awesome.
I like to hear that.
Good job.
I like to hear that.
So when it's all said and done, I think everything's gonna work out good. The one on 1340 or 1485, it's kind of funny. I was telling Frank, I was going through the billboard stuff. National Signs is only 500.
Really?
Yeah. So that'll work out good for you.
I didn't hear you, what you said last, national sounds what?
The people that are making this one are actually on the buy board.
Oh, okay, great.
So you won't have to go through that big rigmarole of bidding and all that. We can just issue an RFQ
Great.
and get them. So, but I wanted to get, like I said, I wanted to get this one up, make sure everybody's happy, and we'll go,
Looks great, thank you. Anything else?
that's all my part.
Maybe I missed it, but what's the timeline of that completion?
They poured the slab, I think yesterday or day before, they gotta let it cure, and, at least 7 days. And so hopefully next week it'll be cured enough, they'll take a little test and make sure.
So by next meeting, we'll probably have it done? Great.
Yeah, the lighting and the landscaping may not be done by then,
Right.
but the sign should be up.
That'd be great, I'm excited.
Good job, thank you, Joe.
So I'll take a picture.
Yeah, awesome, thank you. Okay, the second half of item number 10 is regarding the incentive agreements, purchase and sale agreements.
Yeah, nothing on I. JKL met with, on item M, met with the E-Controls this afternoon. He's currently in the process of finalizing his financing, so we should be finished up with him here in the next probably 60 days. Nothing on the N. And then on O, just some modifications to their agreement. We got a contract with them for purchase of approximately 5 acres at the industrial park, just making some modifications to our existing agreement to allow them the ability of, after the permanent road in, then that begins the clock for them to start on their land improvements, and then from there, it gives them a period of time to stabilize the land, put up a fence, get their building up, and then begin operations within a 4-year period following the completion of the permanent road. So I just need to make those changes to the agreement, and then we'll get them closed. They're ready to close probably within the next 30 days.
Is that a motion item? Okay, so we would need a motion to approve that.
I make a motion.
Okay. I heard Director Zepeda made the motion, the second by Director Hesson. Any discussion?
I gotta run real quick, like that E-Controls, once y'all take care of that, get it all settled, does it take you 18 months for them to be up in operation probably, somewhere around there?
No, I think for the size of the building he's looking at, probably no more than 8 to 9 months. Yeah, from when we close, and then preparing all the plans and the structural and civil and everything. Typically 9 months is about the right turnaround on getting a building completed at the industrial park. So 9 months is pretty much a standard. Is that about right, Joe?
Not much to hear.
Yeah.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor of approving the motion? Unanimous, thank you. The next item is regarding the agreements with the splash pads.
You give us an update?
We, got you on the board and went through,
Michael,
still 100,
Can you give it to me?
there's 111 pages of vendors on the board.
Wow.
So we went through and determined who was a supplier of what you're looking for, the splash pads. We came up with 11. I don't see that list. I think it's over here. Well, there's 11, and out of those 11, we determined, sat down with Frank and went through, and out of those 11, there were 4 that actually, that you had talked to, or here they are, you about, Fund of Bounds, who made a presentation to you guys, Craftsman, who also made a presentation, Vortex, and I think that y'all had talked to them prior to the, and Water Place Solutions Corporation. So the way it works, you got a budget, $300,000. And so we will submit to the buy board people request for an RFQ and tell them we want to use one of these four. Would you get proposals from for that amount of money, and see what they can do, then we'll present it back to you.
Any idea how long that'll be?
I think it's gonna be pretty quick, because they're all looking, because they're, what I can find out about this problem, they're really pushing, trying to use this, and it's run through the school system, and, I mean, everything so far has been great, So,
The 300,000 we're talking about, is that just buying the equipment, or is that 100% turnkey, complete?
Yeah, what we talked to them about, Leonard, was we originally looked at $300,000. And what I told Joe is, as far as the buy board process, to make sure that our project is complete for $300,000, plus there'd be another number in there for recycle. So whatever that number is for recycle, that would be on top of the $300,000. And then we can determine if we want to use the recycling system or not. So then that would be an option, alternate option for you guys to look at whether you want to do that or not. So.
The recycling system almost have to be a must.
Well, once again, at least it gives you an option, and you would rather have more things to choose from than just being restricted, one way. So I just thought it'd be good to at least look at it, and you guys have had an opportunity to look at it, review it, and decide which direction we want to go with that.
yeah, Leonard, another thing is, if with $300,000, you don't know the water usage. They're gonna come back to you and say, we're gonna need so many gallons per minute or hour or whatever. And it could be a lot lower, so you wouldn't have to necessarily have to have a recycling system down, and when you add it on later, you would.
But just the numbers that we had at first, that came in, and that was
Real high.
real high, I mean, good going.
They have-
I just didn't see if we had 300,000, how we had 700,000 come in play of just construction. That just didn't make sense. So,
Well,
the 300,000, does it consist of all of the equipment that we buy to go on the pad, plus the plumbing, the concrete, and all that stuff? I want to make sure that we get all the same numbers together.
You probably won't, you'll probably come back, the ladder deal.
Yeah.
You may not get that, because that's really expensive item, and that's why that bid was high. And what we're gonna ask for is a turnkey.
Well, he's talking about the concrete, everything.
Yeah, that's what we're asking for, turnkey.
So we're looking for.
Because some of these people are
Turnkey
talking about
job,
other
in
stuff.
other words, when they get through, we give them a check, say goodbye.
That's it.
I mean, just, if we say 300,000.
And where we may end up on this is, when we looked at it, everybody liked the tower structure. There's a tower you climb up on, you can slide down and all that. It may end up that this first time, we may not be able to have a tower piece included in this bid, but it doesn't mean that we can't ensure that the plumbing is there, and then we go back in a year or two and then add a tower feature to the structure. And if we're planning, down the road of doing a little bit more on the project, then if the plumbing is there, then we can reach out and add another feature to it. And it's just kind of an add-on. It's a modular system you can add on to it over time.
And
So
they
it just
all-
gives you some options.
I believe that when we discussed it with them, they all said that we could add different components to it.
Yep. No pipe up for it, this week, places there that you tell them that stuff.
Right.
So the splash pad that's coming up in Katy, are any of those people that we talked to?
I don't know, I mean, I know
It's been
that,
on the news the last couple of days, that they're building an enormous splash.
Water.
It's a,
Water.
yeah.
Water.
You know who they are, don't you? That's Monty's original people.
Okay.
Correct.
You know where they get other people?
Mhm.
They originally went in with Monty,
Okay.
then they got mad at him and went over.
Okay, anybody have anything else for Joe? Yes.
He's talking about this recycling thing. Are the cities
Oh,
still
you
gonna
mean
pay
that?
for that? Fine.
Yes, Martin, our agreement with the cities is all facilities are, costs are associated with the city would be the maintenance, the upkeep, and providing the water service to the projects. And those are all in a separate agreement that David, we're about 80% done on those. The only changes, when we originally looked at it, we're going to own the property, and the cities cannot convey, the cities cannot convey parks land. So we'll do a lease agreement where the property is leased to allow the facilities to be built. And that will be in a separate agreement between our organization and the city for them to provide those services and make sure the upkeep is there. Yeah, and that's a separate
That
agreement.
includes the recycling, you know, of the water, right?
That would include that they would provide the water, and it, again, now for, you know, once we get the bids back, we'll look at that. If there's not a great deal of difference, we might be able to accommodate those changes in the $300,000. If it's more than that, then we may have something to talk about, but
I was understanding that the recycling part was gonna cost $30,000, but that the city was supposed to pay for that.
Splendora had agreed that they would pay for it, and, you know, once again, we hadn't got a response back from Roman Forest, but, you know, it's a conversation to have down the road, but I think that, you know, it's something we can talk about as we move forward.
I thought they got agreed up on it too.
I don't think, no,
That they would do that.
no, not, I went to one of the city council meetings, did a presentation, and I think at that time, they deferred acting on it, and, again, it's, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, we're just trying to get some bids, you know, and here's what the project's gonna look like, and then kind of go from there.
Anything else?
So,
Thank you, Joe.
Is there a motion to authorize Joe to submit that? The $500?
Okay, motion by Director Carlisle and a second by Director Hessen. I thought we did that already, I'm sorry. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Martin, are you voting? in favor? Okay, that's right, it's unanimous. The next item is to consider the economic development projects.
and just to let you know, nothing to report on any of these other than Pollo Loco. You see the structure is currently up. It's by the Popeyes down there at North Park. So we'll get some signage put out there in the next week, and that's basically all I got on these items for now.
Okay.
That's it.
Any matters for placement on future agendas?
There it is.
Oh, okay, there it is.
Actually,
pictures, I'm sorry.
actually, yesterday they had up all of the plywood on the side, so they had the walls up, so.
What is that?
That's the Pollo Loco.
Wow. I missed that. I blinked. What does Polo Loco sell?
Chicken.
Cold beer.
Crazy chicken.
Pollo
Good morning, chicken. I don't think the other place up there sells chicken.
Okay,
We know what chicken is.
if there's no further business, we will adjourn. 8:22.
Polo.